We have two case stories coming up now that we're going to share with you. Sive is going to join us first. So Sive, is that okay? Will you come up and join us? Brilliant. So we're going to keep this informal. If you do have questions, don't be afraid to jump in, but I will have Q&A at the end as well. And if there's something that has sparked during our earlier kind of presentations, you can flag up as well. Sive, do you want to tell us a little bit about your company first? So if you press that bottom button, it's not intuitive.
Super.
That will go forward.
Technology. It's great to see everyone here today. My name is Sive Gagan. I went through recently an Agile innovation fund with a company they developed a product called Sanibin. And the big thing about it was there was deep expertise within the team in terms of the markets. That was really key. So again, it's probably based around a lot less logically than what Sean presented, but we do it differently. So we basically finance, sales, and I was the sort of R&D consultant that worked on the project with them. And the two individuals here have probably, they look young, but they've probably 40, 50 years of experience in those markets. So they really knew what they could sell. How you go about making the thing that they could sell was the difficulty, really. This is the unit here. It's a sanitary disposal unit. Half the population use them regularly, and we'll see them regularly. And normally they're serviced units, so there's contracts involved, people coming in and out of premises, all the hassle that goes with that. And what we were looking to do was disrupt that with a different version of it. These are kind of some of the reasons as to why, and this is a big part of the sales team's reasons for doing this. Again, more of the reasons why it's a small unit that can be used. It can be available, much like, let's say, the Guinness pour that Sean was talking about. Anyone can get it. You don't have to be a big multinational or a retail unit or etc. Small coffee shop could buy these. Obviously, big emphasis now on sustainability, and this would certainly help feed into a lot of companies' policies with that if they're going to large, multinationals with this product. Huge potential markets. This is something that we were quite happy to see, but also if you're applying for the Agile fund, can you sell it is kind of the question that EI will have. They'll put it a lot better than that. Again, why is it better than what's currently out there? Again, talking to sustainability, price, all the usual things that your clients would be looking at, So it's very much so market-led, much like Sean was talking about earlier. We then were able to identify why we were better than what's already out there. It's just to kind of look at the competitors and why we're better. And again, it's just all about the offer to the client, making sure that we're hitting all the right notes for that. And again, sustainability, huge issue now for a lot of multinationals, particularly with all the worries around greenwashing and stuff. So we're able to meet those needs and make it an easy decision for them to work with us. These are just some of the details around it, using, complying with ISOs, etc., recycled materials, sustainable forestry, all those kind of sources are very important. You'll have procurement people, particularly in larger companies, going through your product offering with a fine-tooth comb. And then this was another big hit for people. It'll help them differentiate their offering from their own competitors with this product. So
okay. I think
that's just the
that's
flying version.
Brilliant. Can you grab a seat?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So, this was easy, was it? Was this easy?
It was a peculiar. We were very small.
So you were developing the product. So this was developing a product from scratch or building on existing products?
No, developing a product from scratch. So, so John and Patrice, who again are the salespeople, they were getting hammered with selling sanitary products. It's all about price, getting into commodity prices, and that's only one way to go with that. And I kind of knew John previously from a few different projects. And I'd mentioned to him about the Agile fund. I was like, you could do this and take the hit out of it in terms of cash, etc. And EI, this is for export. You're employing people locally. It ticks loads of boxes for EI. I had done a lot of them previously in my own company, and I was like, this is an easy path. Well, it's not an easy pathway, but it's a way of doing this without hitting your bottom line.
And was there a lot of uncertainty? Or was it?
It was fairly uncertain. It wasn't daft. I wouldn't qualify it as daft. But there were other products in the market that were trying to do this, but they just weren't great. So it wouldn't be too difficult to outcompete. if we came up with a good design and a good sort of pitch.
So you had a gut feel that there was an opportunity here, that you could do something better?
Yeah, very sales driven, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that market, so
Yeah.
I was like, look, if you guys are happy you can sell it, I'd have a pretty good idea of how we could go about doing it, because that's where my expertise
And
would
what
have come in.
prompted, what triggered going for the Agile Fund? Obviously, they were thinking about this for a while. So
Yeah.
this was in the pipeline, but what triggered the Agile Fund?
Well, what they initially did, because they were chatting to me and they wanted to come up with a design, and I was like, well, look, particularly with this one, there was design guys in, 2 lads in what's now TU Dublin, and I was like, get a voucher, tell them what you want, doesn't cost you anything, it's 5k, do that, toe in the water stuff,
Yep.
and that's what the vouchers
Yep.
are kind of about. It's dipping your toe in the water. It's pretty much, in my opinion, it's zero risk really. You can try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't cost you anything. You know, you're liable for the VAT, but you know, if you're,
Yeah.
that's fine. You know, and that was really something. And they came up with really interesting products. Now,
Okay.
there's about 10 iterations after that, but
Yeah. Yeah.
Sean saw that, John saw that, and Patrice saw it, and they were like, I could sell that. You know, that was the gut instinct on it.
Okay.
You know.
But you got to make it
A little bit,
in
yeah.
volume, in volume, at a price point.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
certified, so you can't just say those things, you got to certify it
No,
as well.
no, sure, that's the bit in the
Sive.
middle, yeah,
You'd the easy part.
My problem is I love problems.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that kicked off, so that was the innovation voucher. What kicked off then the actual, let's do this seriously, we need to invest, or we need resources, or what triggered that you needed money in a substantial way to go after this?
Well, they didn't have a lot of money to throw at R&D.
Okay,
That
yeah.
was one thing,
Okay.
and you know, they really felt there was a market for this. So I was like, well, look, because like I said, I'd been through a lot of different funding with EI, and I was like, there's an Agile Innovation Fund available. I was like, are you a local Leo or EI client? You know, they weren't. They were Leo client. They're
Yeah.
client of Kildare, and I was like, go in, talk to them. You kind of have to sell the idea to them a little bit, like sell them the vision, you know. And it sounds trite, but that's really what it is. Because
Yep.
once they get it, they buy into it. I was like, we can present them with a kind of a like I've done loads of these things, so I'd be
Yep.
fairly au fait with them. So I went in with like what I thought was the bee's knees, and I was like, throw them that, they'll know you're serious, you
Yep.
know, because I'm always about doing it quickly as well. But so I was like, bring that in, let them know, I'll come in with you if you want, we can
Yep.
explain it, because I've experienced in that area, I've done these a bunch of times, it's not a big problem, and I'd say they'll go for it, like, and because
And did they?
they did, yeah.
They did, yes.
They did, yeah.
Okay, well, here's the lady we need to talk to afterwards.
Oh,
so,
well, no, but it's just about
Yeah.
putting a logical case
structure,
together, and they're not trying
obviously
to
the
trip
marketing side as well, where you're going to sell this as well. This was
Yeah.
this just for the Irish market or for
No,
export?
originally it was for export to the UK. You probably, like, absolutely, it will be for the Irish market as well, but that wasn't going to
Yeah.
be the real kind of game changer side
Yeah.
to it. And then also into the US, because there was, like, John would have a lot of networks built up over the years, so the sales bit was really critical, you
Yeah.
know. Like, in my opinion, I could handle the R&D side of it,
Yeah.
but I certainly couldn't sell it globally.
Yeah, and
John-
also
Jeez.
understanding the different cultural needs and the different market needs in different territories as well.
But yeah, what with that,
And certification, probably.
well, to a degree, yes.
Yeah.
But what really has been interesting, because they can't be here today, because that's why it's nearly funny. I was like, you could have planned this, lads. They have a big meeting with a global supplier today in the UK. So I was like,
Yeah.
sure, I'll pitch up if you want. So I came along. But what they found now is because I was saying to them, like, the R&D doesn't have to die here, lads. Like, do you know what I mean? Yes, you have a product, but there'll always be someone catching up with you, or you know, there'll be something you'll get hit on. It could be someone will start undercutting you, or you know, there's always reasons why you have to keep. In my opinion, you have to kind of keep going, and it keeps you ahead of the posse a little bit, and it keeps you open to things. And like, so there's a potential medical bin that going probably looking at developing.
Okay.
Haven't told Claire yet, but you know, there's other
So
options.
there's a range, potential
Yeah.
range, specific issues.
That's why I'm here today, to be nice to everyone, but we're joking.
So
yeah,
you're
so it's
going
sort
for a
of
new application then? I can announce it today for Agile Innovation
1
Fund.
million euros, yeah.
Yeah, good.
No, but it just keeps you kind of heading towards
Yeah,
the edge,
yeah,
of it,
yeah.
you know. Do you know?
And just to come, the actual application, how easy was it? Or how challenging was it? Where were the gaps from or was there any gaps, or were you very good at writing business plans? Or What jumped out for you on that?
Yeah, I've done them before, so I wasn't too worried. But that said, there is a bit of work in it, but I think that's just due diligence anyway. I mean, if you're going to try and make this product with your own money, you'd be looking into it, and it's taxpayers' money, so you have to. If you went into the bank to look for 200 grand, you'd be bringing in your pints of blood, etc. So. It's just, it can be, but what I always say to people is just start, and now with the beauty of AI, you can probably get yourself a solid basis, but do read it, because some of that stuff is not good. I've tried it. We were trying it out in Polish and Irish and everything. But, they're not, it's very accessible. They're not looking for, PhD level stuff. Like laymen, clear, concise, and if they needed a bit more, they'll tell you, like they're not going to nail it. It's iterative, so you can go in and they'll say, because we got a bit of pushback in certain areas.
Did you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I went for gold, but they're like, "Whoa, I don't know about that side." So I had to some of even the budgets I had to bring back a little bit.
But that's good. It's good to get somebody third party to kind of a little bit.
Yeah, I like to find the ceiling.
Interrogate things a little bit and say, what's realistic, what's not realistic. Are you building a prototype? Are you doing a pilot? Proving it out, because sometimes I know we can, even myself, is sometimes we get over enthusiastic at times and we presume everything will work out fine, and it doesn't. It never does. Prototypes never work out first time. Like with that Guinness tap, there was 17 different prototypes, and each time we were scientifically trying to do something and prove an outcome from that point of view. So, you might say, it'll take 2 or 3. 17 is a bigger spend. So I presume it was the same. 12?
Yeah, we're on about 12.
12 prototypes. Okay.
Yeah, and it started off looking like a cornflake box, but we're like, and we went through 3-4 different potential partners for manufacturing and stuff. So
as well. Okay, so there's a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah,
of uncertainty, and that takes a lot of time. Yeah,
it can. Like I said, I've done this before, and I've gone down this road before, and I've probably made mistakes and learned from them, etc., etc. So you're never going to be perfect. And it's just about progressing a little bit, and especially if it's a new area. And I think, as well, like I think I'd mentioned the voucher there as well. That's a nice way if you're a little bit, or if you have to sell this idea up to someone up higher or something. Do you know what I mean? That can be a very cheap, easy way of getting a little bit of backing for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if you're going in fresh, maybe to the local Leo, and they haven't funded you before, and you have no track record in R&D, it's just another thing to help convince. And like I say, I like to do things quickly, so I was like, I'll do the voucher, bang, that shows the track record as well. We have a nice design. Okay, it's an idea now. We have to go through the full loop of, like, loads of people have great ideas. But
interesting in your business model, now you didn't say business model yet, but in your business model, so you've outsourced manufacturing, you brought in third-party contractors to help you with the design, and you've gone through, I presume prototyping was done by maybe another contractor. So you were bringing in external expertise to help you on the journey.
Because the business is literally like 3 of them are directly. I wasn't part of the business. I'm still not. So they could get rid of me anytime they like. But
we're not going into HR here today, folks. Just that's not on the agenda. It's about funding. Can I just go a little bit further then? Is how easy was internally the paperwork, managing it, the project management side of it? Was that something that was easy, or was it challenging internally, or did you have responsibility for that?
Yeah, I did, and I did it with bookkeeper as well.
Okay, so you had somebody pulled in from accounts.
Yeah, like the way that I ran it was I don't like admin, I don't like bookkeeping, I'm not good at those things.
Well, that's why we invited you here today, to get an honest reflection.
Yeah, paperwork. Not my favourite thing. I do it, but if there's money at the end of it. But so the way I looked at that was like, okay, what are we contractually obliged to provide EI? Yeah. And I worked back from there. Okay. So you need a report, you need timesheets, you need the Excel file.
And some technical prototypes, because they want to see that there was some technical
uncertainty. I showed them all the boxes from box 1 to box 6.
Yeah, so you had the history. No, that was good. Yeah,
and it was based on reality, so that was the good thing. And so that's the way I worked it, and I had that in mind. And like I say, they don't want great, academic tomes. Like can be very accessible language is the word I use. I don't write particularly well. I write small, short sentences.
That's fine, yeah.
But it is what it is. The box is this is box 1, box 2, box 3. Do you know, so it was just about giving them what they need, and if they needed more, they'll ask for more, and you give them more. You know, and I mean, we had all the finance stuff we had running through the books anyway, so that was.
And did you do a pilot with a couple of customers with a kind of pilot run of prototypes?
Yeah, there was a lot of ongoing work, and like John and Patrice, that kind of fed back into design, like functionality, like, you know, basically the people handling these are, say, the multinationals going to be cleaning companies, and we had like, we went in and we asked cleaners, I was like, come here, what do you reckon to that? And well, you know,
you got their feedback.
Very direct feedback.
Okay, no, that's what you want. Absolutely,
It's just, and as well, you know, the marketing side of it and the visuals of it, the aesthetics, etc., was very important, and obviously sustainability was a big bit of it as well, so we had to look into that.
And it sounds like you would recommend to people here go for it, because you're planning to go for a second one.
Yeah, for me, like, I love R&D. I get good crack out of it, to be honest. Once everything else is working fine, you know,
well,
and then
good project management of the process. Yeah,
like once the business is running, you know, then you can kind of go what I call the fun stuff. Do you know? So it's not the end thing, and it's an easy issue. It takes the hit out of it in terms of cash and time. Yeah. If you engage with EI want you to be successful. They want you to employ people. They want you to export products globally. They're not trying to ankle tap you, and if they don't really like it, they'll give you, and you know, they'll let you know what they do or don't, or don't know, lads, maybe next year. That's the worst thing you'll get is no. Like, Jesus, if you're in business, you've had those. Like, you know, it's not the bank man taking the keys to your car. Do you know? So and the more you do, the better you get. You know, and like stuff like this, like even your presentation, like I'm taking notes. Do you know? And I was like, beautiful logic there.
No, you never. Actually, the one thing I will say, even me, you never stop learning in this business. You'll always meet somebody who has done something or have a different twist on their business model. So you never stop learning. But the key thing is you need that entrepreneurial mindset. I wanted to ask you. So you created value. You spotted an opportunity. You created value. You delivered value. Presuming you're making good margin on it. Your price point is right. Did you capture value, intellectual property? What did you do on that?
We have started. Sean's in charge of that.
Okay.
I'm not in charge of that. It's too much admin. But yeah, no, that's they're engaging with EI about that, because there's I forget what it's called. It's like a voucher. There is a mechanism, I think.
The man is there who's in charge of it, and you'll talk to it later, Joe Doyle.
Yeah, perfect. Talk to Joe.
Talk to Joe.
Do you know, because that will be a part of it. Like,
I think that's really important, because I want to flag up do think about the assets in your business and what you're capturing. You will capture margin, you'll capture profitability, but if you can capture intellectual property, that gives you options into the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably get hammered eventually, I would imagine, but that's why if we keep sort of innovating, I think we'll keep a little bit ahead, and in terms of that market, ideally we'd be the market leader in that.
And also get into other niche sectors like medical, as you said, is a key one.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Can I ask, how much did you draw down? And did you do it in one lot? Did you do it in small phases? Multiple phases, and what would you advise?
We built it up over 2 years. I planned it out over 2 years, and I think it was just shy of 2. It was one. Sorry, I should have checked this. It was under 200k. Sorry.
Okay, 200k. So that was sizable.
That we would have claimed back. But the way we did it, I think we did one audit after about 4 months, and it was just really to get some cash back, you know, get something back into the company, because things are tight, and you know, so it's just a way of keeping momentum on it, because I was keen that ideally do it as quickly as possible, but I think we ended up doing it in about just under a year and a half, because John and Patrice had customers looking for it, so they like, get it out now, lads. And the beauty of the Agile Fund is the companies push it, because there's other versions of funding, like innovation partnerships, that you can engage with universities, but the universities kind of own it, like it is Europe. And I didn't always have a super positive experience of that myself as an SME, and I ended up that's why I went down. What I say about the Agile is, it's your money, you can drive it, you're the one paying people.
And nobody wants to share your IP, it's your IP.
Yeah, it's
interesting
yours.
comment.
It's probably the control freak in me, but I preferred that, because you know, you can stop sending checks if you want. Well, not that anyone uses checks anymore, I don't think. But,
So you've given us a very colourful picture around the Agile Innovation Fund, probably the most colourful we've got on this awareness session. Debbie, you probably would agree with me on this, but that was really honest, and I do want to thank you. That was really honest, down to earth, and what you reflected would be a little bit of my mindset as well. You know, it's pulling the bits of the jigsaw to make things happen. And I can actually understand John and the sales, because they're nearly pre-selling, and you've got then to deliver the goods, so everybody's under pressure. But I thought was really good is you pulled in that outside resources, and now you're going to lock off that IP, which is really good.
Yeah, and there's so many different grants and smaller things available, and it's a tricky one because you're busy running your business. So I always find the hardest thing is time. We usually, a lot of companies, and they're like, because you're running your business, and then the forklift breaks or something, So there's lots of that, and you can tap into. There's all the gateways, technology gateways are there, and you're not committed to using anyone, but it's not a bad thing to shop around for access to. They might know people that are good at A, B, or C that you need. There's things like, if it's a small job, a voucher is 5k. You can throw it at them, and it might be something done. And the thing with the vouchers as well, the IP is yours, but I'm not going to give strong opinions. I'll let Jody do that.
It's
absolutely. Like giving them a check for 5k, so you own it. And it's just, there's lots of ways of doing things, and I find a lot of companies aren't aware of Agile funding, and I think you were sort of talking about that at the start. It's best kept secret. So I'd be like, go for it, lads. It's really good.
And the size of the pot is massive for a company who's not an Enterprise Ireland company even, so you're not even in the pipeline, and it also helps you get into the pipeline and go through the Leos as well.
No, definitely. You can start to do it, and then it can be a part of your business strategy. Your R&D. But
so Sive, thank you very much. I'm going to ask you to take a seat there, but then you're going to join us for Q&A at the very end. Thank you very much, Sive. Great. Amanda, can you come up and introduce yourself? We have another case story, another company coming from a very different perspective, and again have applied and used the Agile Innovation Fund. It's that middle button, just to be counterintuitive. We'll actually go forward on the slides.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, absolutely. Life is a challenge.
So I was never so pleased to see somebody putting up Moot Call this morning, because I don't have to start talking about agriculture.
No, you don't. You don't.
Usually, we're doing an Enterprise Ireland to enter the Eurozone project at the moment. So the first thing we have to do with everybody was explain agriculture and how it's working in Ireland. So basically, what we do, so he talked about with Moot Call, literally that you need to know about the cows calving. So our actual job really is to make cows pregnant, and to ensure that that calf that's born is better than the calf that was born the year before or the year before, and basically that in 20 years' time that they're more profitable. So another one of our challenges is, so he talked about the calf that died. One of our jobs is to make sure that we actually manage genetics as well, to make sure that that doesn't happen in the future. So when we work on data, we're working on billions of pieces of information related to individual animals. So that is one of the big things. And also, our world is all about regulation. It's actually more regulated than food. So everything that we do is completely regulated. So you'll understand then it's paperwork. So we put this up because this is literally what we're working on. So for anybody that doesn't know this, Ireland is the most profitable system of dairy production in Europe. So that is literally what we have that's absolutely unique, and what we're going out with. We are actually going out and promoting Irish agriculture. So you can see what we do is we operate the breeding programs. So you can see all our lovely animals are here. So basically, in Ireland, basically animal breeding works on genomics. So we can predict within about 70% how the progeny of a certain bull is going to perform in terms of, let's say, milk, in terms of calving. That is how accurate the predictability is. We can predict within 80% reliability if an animal is going to last for 5 or 6 years. So this is the accuracy of Irish agriculture. We work completely on big data, and apparently the largest processing units in Ireland is actually in ICBF, which is the National Database for Agriculture. So it just puts it in context how impressive agriculture actually is in Ireland, and the fact that we get to work as part of this. So do you see here, if anyone's from agriculture, you'll see this is what we do. So basically, these are the bulls that produce the semen. We process the semen, and this is it here, like, so you have a straw. So that is literally what we're selling. We're selling it in Ireland, and it's what we're exporting. Individual, basically, straws that contain 15 million sperm cells. So we've been involved in animal breeding in Ireland for more than 70 years. In fact, I can tell you, animal breeding started in Munster bovine in the 1940s. So that is basically what we are. We're 100% cooperative owned. So that basically means everything we do is literally about the greater good in Ireland. We established in 2005 basically as agriculture professionalised. Two of the largest organisations in Ireland came together and they set us up to basically run the breeding programmes, because the investment that's required is so significant. And then we started exporting in about 2013. And that was when all the fun started. So everything was fine when we were doing things in Ireland, but then Ireland grew, export grew. So all of a sudden, we were not actually fit to do everything that we needed to do with what we had. And what's really nice, and it's something, is that the Irish family farm is alive and strong. So everything we do is actually about the end user. It's about literally what is happening in farming practices. So that is
Great. Grab a seat. Amanda, that was brilliant. Thank you very much. And no, it's incredible. And why I'm really all part of this is actually you appreciation what's sitting here in Ireland as well. And it's fantastic from that point of view. What was really interesting is the project you undertook was massive.
Yes.
Okay, let's be honest with that. It was a big project. And the Agile Fund we'll talk about in a minute, but tell us a little bit about the project, because it was a big process change in the organisation. So just at a high level, give us an idea of what it meant. I think it's still ongoing. You're not fully there yet.
We're not fully finished.
Yeah, but just share with them,
And
because
why
it
are we
was
not
that
fully
process.
finished? Because we started getting more excited and started realising that we could actually automate a lot more processes.
Okay.
So our project was huge. It was about basically getting rid of paperwork in the whole organisation, automating the organisation.
All that process being automated.
Yes, literally from before an animal is born. So like we actually simulate pregnancies.
Okay.
So we like simulate 75 million pregnancies to try to figure out what is the ideal animal we want born, and to follow that literally the whole way through till we actually have an end product that we can sell.
Okay.
Takes huge amounts of animal testing, you know, health testing, movements, etc. The regulation that we are bound to is very, very significant. So we literally wanted to have all of that in the one centre. We had a certain amount of home-built automation just for the processing piece, but we wanted to tie that further back to the barns. We use RFID technology.
Okay.
And then
so that tracks the animals.
Yes.
Yep.
So, but then when we started to Ireland, I don't know if you're aware, everyone's seeing that people think we should have 200,000 less cows at the moment. We completely disagree. We're hoping it won't happen. So you see Ireland grew. So that automatically meant that we grew alongside as well. So we also had COVID at the same time. And then export grew. So all of a sudden we were not fit to literally do any of the stuff we needed to do. We were getting slower and slower in getting our product out, because every single piece of product that goes out has a huge amount of the regulation behind it. So can you sell a piece of product? It's not like, I don't know, call a handbag, or it's not like a sanitary bin. I don't mean that, but literally you have to make sure that it qualifies, that you can fill out a health cert, that the Department of Agriculture is going to sign that health cert, that there's an import license, etc. So our product is not that easy to move and manage.
Okay, yeah. And the Agile Fund, how did that come into play? So somebody had this vision within the organisation. It obviously was agreed, and you said, right, we need funding to help us do this. Did you have the resources in-house, or was that something you had to buy in, a little bit like Sive?
Okay, so where it happened a little bit differently for us, we started looking at that we needed to automate the sales side of it in terms of the actual export. So you looked at one section. We looked at that, but then we started realising that we needed to build a lot of APIs.
Okay.
So then it was all of a sudden the cost started to increase and increase and increase, because the more we wanted to automate, the more APIs we needed.
Of course, yeah.
So then
the company we were working with, they themselves are actually an Enterprise Ireland funded organisation. So they actually said to us, you do realise that it would be more practical for you to automate this part of the organisation within the one framework and system, and that you can actually get funding from Enterprise Ireland for doing this, and that in the end you'll have everything in the one system.
Yep.
And you basically can have this piece done as an add-on, and it'll actually cost a lot less to do this piece, but you'll get everything else done as well.
Okay, so you'll have a new platform, a new framework
Exactly.
with which to plug in all the various pieces and integrate them.
Because we're also pulling information in for a number of outside organisations as well.
Yeah.
So even the APIs are built for some of those. So now basically the software, we're actually working on the Salesforce platform. So we're building out on that. So it's actually able to connect into that. And then even for other apps, like, you know, marketing apps, or we want to gather customer information, data and things like that. So we can actually plug it all in. So it's a really nice network in terms of, let's say we can buy or you can rent for the basically the statistics packages that can tie in. So you know, every job that we want to do at the moment, we're pulling together maybe 5 different pieces of information from different sources to run it through statistics. So it'll basically mean that everything is in the one place.
So let me get this right. So you've evolved over time with manuals, bits and pieces of software products, and
Excel,
suddenly somebody has Excel. Excel is the key one.
Excel.
And a lot, and it's all data driven, and you have to be compliant. So you have to show the evidence behind or the trail behind it as well.
Yep.
This sounds like a massive project.
It is a huge project, and we didn't have the resources.
Did you have a dedicated team?
We did initially until the dedicated team got busier.
Okay, so they got pulled into day-to-day work. Which is not unusual, by the way. I come across that quite a lot.
And then also we had the challenge as well internally. This was a whole culture shift in the organisation. It wasn't just like you're going to put in this. So we had people that started getting concerned about their job and their role. So, and then also the fact as well, there was no point building out something based on your current processes when actually you know that you do need to have some process improvement in there as well.
Yeah, so it was real innovation.
So it was really, yes. So, you know, like the whole snowball started going.
So how did the Agile Fund help you on this journey? Because it grew as you started. So you, as against your initial application, did you go back and do further applications?
Well, we're in the process of, so we're trying to finalise out the last pieces. So we're having to build out a couple of the modules to be able to connect a few of the different pieces. And then we're looking at the additional funding.
Okay, that's something just to share with you. There's a lot of flexibility, and you heard from Sive a little bit about they did it in certain phases so they could draw down the money. So it's how you tactically use this as well. And your project to me seems, you know, once you get into it and once you get working with software companies as well, you only then find out maybe the potential or the scale, and you've got to decide what you're going to go. So there is flexibility there.
And our process is... It's about also getting a lot of the information out. So what's really the advantages of this at the end of the day? The risk management in our business is, you know, at the moment the risk is huge. There's so much knowledge in individual people's heads. So we really need to actually get that into computers. So, you know, it'll be a huge improvement on risk management. We had to stop sometimes, and we did another piece with MTU. So I don't know if people are aware of, there's other agri-tech units. So agri-tech, it's funded through Enterprise Ireland. So because we're so each of the different actually businesses in Ireland, there's an actual technology hub that will also support you as well. So by the way, that was another best kept secret that we happened to find out about. So we actually did some value stream mapping with them. So they were able to do some of that work for you. They will help us to basically to map some of the process that we really needed to change. So I would recommend, if anybody's doing it, do basics in value stream mapping for every single person in the whole business before you start actually. Because
you got to know where you are right now.
Yeah, and you have to literally map every single little piece that you're doing. You think you have a quality folder or something. Yeah, your quality folder that gets you past your compliance for ISO, etc., is like that. Now we're like into that in terms of mapping your processes. It's every single little detail, even if you think it's not relevant.
So obviously the time commitment was quite major for that team internally,
Yeah.
and you have external contractors doing the software and the APIs for you as well.
We should have employed a project manager.
Okay, a full-time project
If
manager.
anyone's going to do it, don't do it without a project manager.
Yeah.
So, you know, you had Cypher doing it with the other organisation, so we made that mistake. I know you think that it's a cost, but actually the skill set and everything that those people will bring as well, in terms of even helping you to document all your processes and everything, will be huge. And then the other piece I would recommend is do a little bit of work on the organisation culture and change within the team and things like that.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
the communication piece. So we hit a lot of different challenges as we went along.
No, and absolutely, and we've heard it, the team here have heard it from a couple of the other awareness sessions. Exactly, there was one in Donegal, and he was talking about, look, buy in the expertise. He didn't have the sales and marketing expertise, developed a new product for the fishing industry, really smart product, but he brought in then as part of his Agile Innovation Fund that sales and marketing person. He could build it, he could actually sell it, but couldn't sell it as a volume product because that needed somebody dedicated to the resource as well. So it's understanding what you need or where there's gaps in the skill set in order to kind of do it more effectively. And that could include change management. I don't know, you'd have to ask Enterprise Ireland on that. But again, if that's part of the journey for the senior management team, you know, that is part of innovation. Everybody has to change behaviours and maybe routines as well. And that may be part of managing that level of uncertainty around making sure you maximise the benefits.
Yeah, but even like something we have to make is catalogues, you know, of animals and things like that. So this is something that's really nice. It's a huge amount of work. But now we're actually taking in the software program will be connected with this. So we're actually going to be able to use the same software program that, let's say, the car people use to make their lovely car catalogue. So if you go to buy a car and it's your used car catalogue, etc., or whatever. So we're actually going to be able to use that as well. So the additional benefits that you actually are spending a lot of time, money and resources on, once you get the core piece done, these are the add-ons that we're going to put in alongside, and that will just, the amount of money and time that will save for us in the future will be.
You know, you sparked a thought in my head, and it only occurred to me, and it was off the back of that MOOC call, and I didn't set it up so to make your job easier. But
I appreciate you having done that.
Thank you. But the key thing for me, the insight, and it was a big game changer for me and for my company, was sitting down and doing the business model before we actually decided to design and develop the product. Validating the needs and the outcomes required by each of the stakeholders around the table. It was negotiated, we got agreement, and that was fine because that was a new startup, that was a new company, that was okay. But in an existing business, part of any journey is bringing people with you, and that is an important element, and we tend to underestimate it, and maybe that's part of our thinking in future of a project manager might be part of that, or making sure that we do plan the journey or the leadership needed to make the journey happen.
The other thing as well is we did start off the beginning bringing people with us and giving maybe too much input into systems. So I'm also going to say building a new system, it's not a democracy. Okay, you make sure that it works, but it's not a democracy.
That's fair enough.
So definitely don't operate on that basis. Literally, you need to build out the system for the right pieces. Everybody has their input in making sure it works, but it's not a democracy.
Brilliant. Amanda, thank you very much for sharing that with us.